Anyway, so let's do our wrap up. I don't have a ton of movies to talk about in my wrap up. Shall I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I watched Kissing Jessica Stein and Princess Sid, and we're going to talk about those more when we do, as well as Coffee Date and Just Friends. But we'll talk about all of those more when I finally finish going through the LGBTQIA movies that we've done as a bigger conversation later. But my one-liner for all of them is Kissing Jessica Stein is kind of cute until the ending, and I hate it. Princess Sid is a low-budget like indie film, and it's really low budget and indie in its tone and feeling in places, but I genuinely enjoyed it. There's some really nice stuff there. Coffee Date is hard to watch a little bit because it's window boxed and it looks really shitty, but it's actually a fun, cute movie for the most part. The story is interesting. Just Friends was really fluffy as you've described it, but not without substance. And it's from 2018. It's not the one with what's his name? It's not
Ryan
the American
Reynolds.
one. It's a German film.
Nope.
Best Friends was enjoyable. Nope.
It's from the Netherlands.
Netherlands. Sorry, it's not from
Amsterdam is so overrated. Amsterdam's not in Germany.
No, it's not. I also rewatched Sunset Boulevard not that long ago. Sunset Boulevard is great. I love Sunset Boulevard. Let's see. I don't have anything to say about it because it's just a great movie. Rewatched The Avengers because we've been playing Lego Marvel Avengers, and it's not the greatest Lego game, but I rewatched The Avengers because they use the same dialogue that's in the movie in the game, and it doesn't work in the game because it doesn't make sense or match the tone of what they're doing. But the movie I still enjoy. I watched A Whisker Away, which was a cute, harmless animation on Netflix. I don't know. I watched The Current War. Actually, that's the last thing I have to talk about. Is I watched The Current War, which is this movie that was released 3 or so years ago in festivals and then died because it was a Harvey Weinstein film, and that's right around when he was really getting, all of the news was coming out about him, and so it disappeared and died for a little while, and then the director got a hold of it and made a cut of it. Yes, you have a Luna over your shoulder. It's been recut, so I assume I watched the Current War director's cut. I think that's the only version that's available. It is weird in the sense that like the filmmaking had no clue what it was doing. Like the pacing was all over the place, the style was all over the place, everything was all over the place. It wasn't bad. It's really not a Sarah movie, so I'm not going to recommend it to you. But It was interesting. Like it was an okay movie with a lot of name actors in it that I kind of enjoyed seeing, and it had some fun stuff. And I liked a lot. It looked pretty, but it just didn't fit together as a movie. Like it's almost not a movie. Like it's all these pieces that have been like clogged on together to sort of make a movie. It's almost how it felt, even though it's all the same story.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's what I watched.
Something weird happened.
I've
been watching a little less lately too. I've been getting into Korean dramas, and I might even write about that at some point, but I'm still like, there are people there that just watch all of them. It's a fascinating world, even when you look outside of Korea to like Japanese dramas, Chinese dramas, Thai dramas. Apparently, I have no clue how to pronounce this properly. I have only ever read it, but it's called a Lakhorn. And apparently they're all about revenge. Like every Lakhorn is about revenge. And some guy wants revenge, and it's a lot of machismo, apparently. But so I've been spending a lot of time on that. So I watched Strong Girl, Bong Soon, which was 16 episodes, and I like the characters more than the plot. That's a television show, not a movie. You didn't mention Blood Quantum.
Oh, I forgot to mention Blood Quantum. We watched Blood Quantum yesterday. I forgot to put it on the list. It's by Jeff Barnaby. He's an Indigenous person from Canada.
First Nations.
Yeah, I know that there's a lot of, whether you call someone Native American or Indigenous in America, I don't know how it works in Canada, so I just say Indigenous.
First Nations is what but I think they're still separate tribes under First Nations.
Anyways, it's his second movie. I still need to see his first one that you watched, Ryan's For Young Girls.
I think you might like the first one more.
Yeah, the one we watched, Blood Quantum, I know there's nuance that's lost on me because it's related to, their culture, but I don't but mostly the beginning was interesting, and then the second, I don't know, the last 3/4 of the movie, which is most of it, it's basically a well done episode of The Walking Dead or something, like a particularly well done episode of TV, but not. It doesn't feel like a movie in some ways, and it's not like particularly good. It's definitely not a Sarah movie.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it, and I liked a lot of the gory effects and some of the goofiness, but it kind of it's like, I don't know how much it's going to stick with me. Like, it'll stick with me because it's unique, not necessarily because it's like a great movie.
Yeah, I'd be curious what he'd do with a larger budget and more resources, because it definitely feels like he gets hindered by that kind of a thing. I'm also not sure he wants to make movies that are really my kind of movies. Like you, I really like the beginning of Blood Quantum, but then he's I don't know if he was going for like Rob Zombie. I don't really know Rob Zombie stuff very well, but he definitely likes that. And it's just I'm less interested in it, so it's hard for me to evaluate. But he does have a viewpoint we don't see much, because there are not very many First Nations or Native American directors out there. And I think, you know, he's worth watching for that reason. But I would say the you don't want to evaluate. I mean, that an article came out about that recently with regards to Black filmmakers, that, you don't want to evaluate them based on their race. You want to like evaluate their art.
Yeah. We've had this discussion. It's a little complicated. Yeah,
but I would say if you are interested in the history of First Nations in Canada, Rhymes for Young Ghouls has way more of that in it. And you might find it interesting for that reason. Blood Quantum was still very tied to the history of this part of the world, but I think it was more allegorical. And again, you and I may have missed things that
I'm sure there's something in there about Blood Quantum, I guess, that I don't understand, because I try to be aware, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, I mean, there were interesting dynamics within the Native or the First Nations characters in the films, and I have to believe that is something he's trying to show, the divisiveness even within the community over how to handle certain things, how to react to a dominant culture that has treated your own culture so badly.
Yeah.
Be the better man or just fuck them. So, that was interesting for sure.
What else? Anything else for you?
I watched Ghost Team, which was very fun, very medium. If you like ghost stuff, why not watch? It doesn't hurt to watch it. There's just not that much there. I rewatched some stuff. I watched The Producers, which I'd be curious if you saw, which is interesting, but Lindsay Ellis has a much better. I'm still working on dealing with the fact that like a lot of foreign films that I want to watch are just like vanishing from services, and I kind of hope that like Parasite has caused someone to like grab all their stuff and they're going to put it somewhere else. I don't know, because like The Handmaiden vanished off of Prime, which was kind of upsetting. But yeah, I don't have a lot to talk about that we haven't already talked about.
Well, then let's move on to what are we going to watch? I know that we're watching the original Producers, the French movie tomorrow. I think.
Not The Producers. We watched The Producers. We're watching La Cage.
The Birdcage, the original, The Birdcage.
Yes.
Which I'm looking forward to. I'm probably watching An Actor's Revenge today.
Okay.
I've got to work. My significant other and me have to figure out for sure, but I'm planning to watch it this week at least. I'm going to watch a movie today, but yeah, those are the only two that I'm sort of focused on. I
still think Cane River would be an interesting one for you to watch in relation to
maybe. Yeah, I think I may just not be in the mood for An Actor's Revenge. I don't know. It's lighter. It's lighter. It's low budget. And it's silly, and if you watch the actors, the two leads in it, talk about it later, and you can tell that, especially the one that had some acting experience, was like, yeah, it had a good heart. You're talking about Cane River, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, An Actor's Revenge isn't light, right?
No, it's a revenge story.
Yeah.
But it's not like...
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
It's not like there's not any gore in it or anything like that. I'm really curious what you'll think of the visuals on that. I think the visuals are what really got me the most about that.
It's when it's so hot, it's hard to like sit down and watch something thought provoking because I'm just thinking about how much I'm sweating.
Yeah, but if you do watch Cane River, definitely watch the interview with the actors. I mean, one of them wasn't an actor. I mean, that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, but those are the only movies. Yeah, those are the only ones. Maybe Millennium Actress is also kind of one that I want to focus on, but we'll see what I have time for. I can't do all of those this week because I also have other, I don't know, who knows? Those are some. What about you? Anything you're watching?
Well, I see that you've starred The Stranger and Scenes from a Marriage. I think I'm more likely to watch The Stranger anytime soon. I still want to keep watching Korean dramas and other dramas because I've really been enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I've been rewatching stuff to post about, and I haven't been great about my posting. I managed 2 last week. But I kind of want to rewatch either Gohato or Cure and talk about them because I like both those films. I've seen Cure more recently and really liked it. And Gohato is Oshima.
Also known as Taboo in English.
Right. And might watch that. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm very all over the place too. I've been watching more than you, but I've also just been watching a lot of.
I'm getting back into it after taking a break of sort of not watching like 3 or 4 movies a week as opposed to a movie a day, which is still a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm getting back into it.
I'm hoping you'll still watch the LGBT stuff too, so that we can have a bigger conversation about that at some point.
Well, that's the reason where it's like, well, I want to watch Millennium Actress, but I want to watch one of those too. But I also want to watch one of the Colombian noir, the Western noirs.
Yeah.
That's on Criterion, but I also want to watch some of the movies that are leaving the Criterion. So many movies. So we'll see what I have time for.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think that's it for us. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, we talked about movies.
We talked about movies. Yay, us. Thank you for listening or watching. Have a good, I hope it's less hot where you are.
Have a great summer.
Have a great summer. Bye.
Bye.